Today, I'd like to talk about the businesses that are on edge due to Trump's election win. Of course, these are Chinese companies. But before that, I want to say that even American companies need to take a step back. Perhaps some of you will relate to this, so please take a look. I have so many websites I frequently visit that I use different browsers based on the purpose. Right now, I'm using Microsoft Edge. Take a look at the icon on the screen, which you probably recognize as one of the well-known Chinese shopping sites that advertise a lot online lately, Shine. I didn't set this myself, it appeared automatically. I deleted it once, but it reappeared on its own. It seems like Microsoft is somehow controlling what appears on my browser's homepage. This is frustrating, especially since I don't want these icons to keep coming back once I've deleted them. Microsoft is likely receiving advertising revenue from Shine, but they shouldn't just place it on users' browsers without consent. Now, speaking of Microsoft, there's also the topic of Bill Gates' support for Kamala Harris. It was reported that during the final stages of the election, Gates made significant donations to Harris's side, perhaps fearing a Trump victory. I imagine many Americans feel fed up with these types of maneuvers. Seeing this might be angering Americans, and I wonder if people in Japan are experiencing this, too. If anyone knows how to prevent Chinese company icons from appearing on Edge, I'd appreciate it if you could share that information so we can all benefit. If there's no way to remove them, I can't help but think, what are you doing, Microsoft? Another American company worth mentioning is Facebook, which previously deleted Trump's account. However, Trump's popularity has continued to grow. This is partly due to the Biden administration's missteps, such as issues with immigration, which is a significant problem in America, and the stark inflation that has taken a toll despite the booming stock market. This disparity leaves some people struggling. Those benefiting from the economic upswing are concerned about how their tax money is spent, and thus, there's a growing sentiment that Trump might be the next president. This likely led Facebook to think it was better to reinstate Trump's account. However, Trump is understandably upset, which is partly why he's opposing the proposed restrictions on TikTok. The proposed TikTok restrictions have emerged under the Biden administration, potentially as an attempt to favor Facebook by reducing competition. While that might not be the only reason, it certainly has an impact. For Trump, Facebook is seen as having done him wrong, which informs his stance on the TikTok issue. Essentially, these domestic issues are tied to America's relations with China. For any politician, stabilizing their domestic base is the top priority. Foreign issues come next. Although Trump's stance toward China has generally been tough, his opposition to TikTok restrictions might seem contradictory. However, from a politician's perspective, it makes some sense. Now, let's move on to Chinese companies that are on edge. Take a look at this chart. U.S. trade patterns are shifting. Chinese exports to the U.S., which were once very high, have recently been dropping, while Mexico's exports to the U.S. have been growing. Trump has been calling for higher tariffs on China, and we might also see changes with imports from Mexico. Despite a decrease in overall Chinese imports, one category of goods has seen significant growth: small lot shipments under a certain dollar threshold. The Japan External Trade Organization has identified this category as primarily driven by e-commerce platforms Shein and Temu, which have been aggressively advertising. The strategy is to increase users through heavy advertising, even running at a loss, until there's a large enough user base to reduce advertising spending. This is a typical strategy that leads to rapid profitability once the user base is established. Many people in the US are now buying goods from Shein and Temu because of their affordability amidst inflation. Although small shipments currently avoid tariffs, it's possible that Trump will move to close this gap by imposing additional tariffs. This would affect both Shein and Temu, and addressing these loopholes might be key for Trump's administration. Trump has also promised to curb inflation, which is crucial for many Americans struggling with the high cost of living. The Japanese media often claim that inflation would worsen under Trump, but it's unlikely he would make impossible promises. Trump or his advisors are likely working on effective strategies to counter inflation. This may include policies to reduce dependency on Chinese imports. One of Trump's ideas is to encourage fossil fuel extraction to lower energy costs, as lower fuel prices would help curb inflation across the board. Hearing Trump's statements gives the impression that inflation control measures are already underway. It will be interesting to see their impact. Many things could change under a Trump administration, and comparing them with the Biden administration could serve as a model. I hope to listen to people who report on America accurately and objectively, since Japanese media often demonstrate bias against Trump. Whether you like Trump or not, it's essential to accurately report current events. Thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.